guns, assassinations, and poisonous fish. I think that pretty much sums up your Hitman Absolution at E3. Would that be right, Tore?
Well, that's a little part of it. As you will see when E3 starts tomorrow, this is just a part of what we're showing. We also have another level that we're showing in the theater, which is a completely different setup with different kind of hits and a kidnapping even.
We've seen the Chinatown piece. You'll have another demo actually at E3, which kicks off tomorrow. Can you elaborate a little bit on what we should expect to see?
Yeah, basically we have what's called the Streets of Hope, which is a level in South Dakota in America, a little town, and we are showing off actually 5 hits and a kidnapping within 20 minutes or so. So that's, you can say it's an expert playthrough of that level. It's a very massive level. Chinatown it's kind of a pretty small level. It's good for hands-on. It's like you can get a good experience pretty quickly. But Hope, it's vast. So we said, okay, we'll do a playthrough of that to show off.
It must be a bit of a problem, you guys having to select, like you said, this is perfect for hands-on, the other demo's better for a presentation. It must be very hard for you guys to go, right, which exact bit are we going to lift out, which exact bit we're going to lift out for that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, originally we wanted to have Streets of Hope on the floor as well, but we just found out it would take people more than an hour maybe just to get through it once, and that's just, that's a really big hands-on at E3, right? So,
What's I mean, with the Chinatown, I mean, playing through the hands-on of it a couple of weeks ago, there's multiple ways, as is every Hitman game, of taking down your target. With this other demo, are you magnifying that number of assassination possibilities like tenfold?
Well, there's certainly a lot more freedom, and I mean, Chinatown is the second level of the game, and Streets of Hope it's quite much further into the game, so it's also when players are ready for a bigger challenge, because you can say that as long as you only have one objective, like if you have to assassinate one person, the moment you do that and you fulfill that, you can kind of leave the level. So there's only a number of things that can happen, but if there's multiple objectives within the level, it gets even more intricate, because you can't mess up on the first ones, because then it would kind of just snowball whatever problems you're in onto the next one. So.
You guys had a really good reception for Hitman at last year's E3. How do you feel coming back this time round?
Yeah, well, everybody says that your second E3 is the hard one, because the first time you're kind of new and you're kind of, it's kind of fresh. So for us, we've really been trying to think, what can we do this time to make something that makes it worth coming back to for everybody reporting, right? So, and a big kind of takeaway from last E3 was, of course, that this looks great and it's very cinematic and it's all that, but is it really a Hitman game, right? Is there really the power, the choice, the freedom that we know from the old games? And that's what we're basically showing this time around. It's all about player choice. It's all about showing the proof that this is a really Hitman game.
And as we noticed, there's multiple difficulty settings as well, so it's catering for all players, for newcomers as well as the Hitman veteran.
Yes, this is one of our really big challenges, is that if you're an expert Hitman player coming to Absolution, you probably don't want that much help. You actually don't want any help at all. And we have to accommodate for these people, and also for the normal humans that actually are really happy to be told at least some of the things that they want to do. So like, you might not want to take a gun out in public because people might be a little bit afraid then, and then so we're making this divide between what we have. We have like our normal difficulty, and then we have the hard difficulty, and we encourage all the kind of the hardcore players to start actually by the hard difficulty, and then to kind of make up for that, we actually added. There's actually 5 difficulty levels of Absolutions, so that if you start on hard, you'll have 2 more to go until you kind of maxed out.
So wrapping up, what is it about 47? How do you keep 47 such an interesting character? How do you keep players coming back to find out more about him? What's your secrets?
I guess it's actually about doing as little as possible with 47, because when we started out at Absolution, we really wanted to tell this big story about him. We wanted him to be a really active part of that. But the more we worked on it, the less it made sense. So the more of the dialogue that he had, we kind of took it out. We tried it out and it didn't work, so we took it back out. And now we're back into where he himself is still kind of like a mystery to the player. And I think that's part of the intrigue, is that you don't really know that much about him. And you can, because the game is so much about choice, it becomes the player's choice, and the player becomes the character far more because he is choosing how to play the game. 47 is merely just the vessel. He's just acting whatever you want him to do.
Tore, I think that's all we've got time for. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.